So let's dive into a really big idea, something that gets to the heart of what spiritual practice is all about. What if the whole point isn't to escape life, but to wake up right in the middle of it? Today, we're going to tackle a huge misconception, the myth of final nirvana. I mean, this is the question, right? When we hear about a Buddha entering final nirvana, what are we actually talking about? Is it just poof, you're gone? A complete and total exit from existence? That's a super common way to think about it, but as we're about to find out, it might be a massive misunderstanding. And this isn't some dry academic debate. For a lot of us, this is personal. It hits on a real, deep down existential worry. It's the kind of thing you might call a midnight question. That little doubt that creeps in when it's dark and quiet. Oh yeah, we've all been there, haven't we? Lying awake in the middle of the night when everything feels a little less certain. The source material just nails this feeling. It's in those quiet, unsettling moments that these huge questions about life, death, and what it all means, well, they suddenly feel very, very real. Okay, so let's get to the bottom of this. Why do so many people connect nirvana with this idea of a final escape? Well, a lot of the time, it really just comes down to the words themselves. This whole idea often comes from passages exactly like this one, right out of the Lotus Sutra. It says Buddhas get awakened, and then they enter final nirvana. And that one little word, final, well, it carries a ton of weight. It's pretty much the source of this whole puzzle. And you can see why, can't you? Final sounds like the end of the road, the last stop. It just paints this picture of enlightenment being a one-way ticket out of the whole messy business of life and death, a complete exit. But is that really what's being said here? To really get the answer, we have to look at one of the most famous stories in all of Buddhist literature. It's a parable that completely flips the whole idea of escape on its head. It's a story about finding awakening, not by running from danger, but by being right in the heart of the fire. So here's the story, the parable of the burning house. You've got a father, and his kids are inside a house that's on fire. Now, he can't just scream fire because they're totally lost in their games and won't listen. So he uses this really clever tactic, what's called an expedient means. He tells them he has these amazing toy carts waiting for them outside. But here's the key. He doesn't put out the fire. The fire itself, the danger, is the whole reason they have to get out. It's the context for their salvation. And boom, there it is, the big insight, the fire, which is a metaphor for all of it, for suffering, for change, for the chaos of life. It isn't some obstacle you have to get away from. It is the place. It's the location where you wake up. You don't find enlightenment by escaping the fire. You find it right there, inside it. And this leads us to a really revolutionary idea, something that's totally central to the Tiantai and Nichiren traditions of Buddhism. The Buddha never actually went anywhere. Now, to get this, we have to understand this concept called the Dharmakaya, or the truth body. This isn't a physical thing, and it's definitely not some state you enter when you die. Think of it more as the eternal, compassionate energy or essence of reality itself. It's always here, always active, and it's the fundamental nature of, well, everything. So this just sets up this incredible contrast. On one side, you have the myth, nirvana, as this escape, this end point, this annihilation. But the reality being presented here is completely different. It's a realization that happens inside the world. It's about waking up to an eternal, compassionate presence that's always unfolding. It is not an end. It's a continuous awakening. And this quote from the source text just sums it up perfectly. The ultimate truth, the ultimate reality, isn't some far-off place. It is right here in the unfolding of this very moment. In your breath, in this conversation, in everything. And if you want proof, the sutra itself gives it to us. There's this figure, Many Treasures Buddha, who makes a vow. He says that even after he enters his own final nirvana, he's going to show up whenever the Lotus Sutra is being taught, just to say, yep, this is the truth. Now, think about that. How could he possibly do that if nirvana was just extinction? He couldn't. It's impossible. His promise to keep showing up proves that nirvana has to be something active and engaged. Okay, so this is a huge philosophical shift, but what does it actually mean for us in our day-to-day lives? How do you live this kind of understanding? Well, this great philosopher, Zhiyi, came up with this incredible concept called Ishinen Sanzen. And the idea is just mind-blowing. It says that the entire universe, all 3,000 possible states of being, everything from the worst hell to perfect Buddhahood, is fully present and packed inside a single instant of your own mind. The eternal isn't something you get to later, it's right here, right now. Now, that is a huge idea to wrap your head around, right? So a teacher named Nichiren came along and took this massive, cosmic vision and made it radically simple and accessible. He taught that by chanting the phrase, Namu Myoho Renge Kyo, anyone, and he meant anyone, could directly experience this truth in their own life. He took the eternal and put it into a concrete daily practice. And this wasn't some kind of positive vibes only thing. This quote from Nichiren is just so powerful because it's so incredibly real. It's not about trying to avoid pain or only chase after pleasure. No, it's about feeling it all, suffering and joy, and seeing them both as just facts of life. And you continue your practice right in the middle of all of it. So here's the bottom line. We have to stop looking for some perfect paradise somewhere else. The place where we awaken, the so-called pure land, is this world, right here. With all its messiness, its beauty, its chaos, its light, it's complicated and it's luminous. And that's the entire point. And all of this brings us right back to where we started, to that tricky little phrase, final nirvana. But now we can see it in a totally different way. That word final, it turns out, doesn't mean the end. It means complete. It means ultimate. So final nirvana is a complete awakening to the truth that life itself is eternal, that it has no beginning and no end. It's the ultimate realization, not the ultimate escape. And this is the beautiful, brilliant conclusion from our source. The phrase itself is a kind of masterful, skillful irony. By using the word final, it actually tricks us into questioning our own desire for an ending, our own desire to escape. It's a challenge to stop looking for a finish line and to start living fully in the eternal now. So, I'll leave you with this to chew on. What if the whole point of the spiritual journey isn't to get to the end of the path? What if the greatest freedom of all is realizing there is no end? That this messy, beautiful, eternal unfolding of life is all there is, and that it is absolutely, completely enough.